but had a good time. You make a lot of friends, though, which is good. You make a lot of friends, and then when you go to Vietnam, you really become close with the guys. I mean, it's like you really look out for each other. It's almost like you you're fighting a war, but yet you're not really fighting it for the state, for the governments, or whatever. You're really fighting it for the guys that are around you to keep them alive. You know what I'm saying? You're doing your best for the guys that you're with. It's hard to explain, but you know,
just to stay alive.
well, that's true. But you dedicate yourself to everything else, your friends more than yourself. You know, never mind you're fighting for your country and for freedom, and you fighting. You're staying alive for your. You're trying to keep alive your squad, your company, people that are with you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Your friends, and that's the toughest thing to do is when you lose those guys like Peter Liberati, Schultz, guys that you spend time that you play baseball with, guys that you were in the state, you went to school with, and when those guys get killed, you take it pretty hard, you know.
Now you explain this. Now, Vietnam started when? When was
the war?
Yeah, when did the Vietnam start? Was
actually they actually started sending advisors, Green Beret advisors in 1959. But only a few. There was only maybe a couple hundreds. They were mostly advisors to teach the South Vietnamese different things,
Right.
And then they decided to send X amount of Marines. They said the first Marines, I think, landed in 1960 or 62, one. They sent maybe 300, and they kept sending more people, and more people. By the time I got there in 1966, there was over 500, almost 300,000 Marines over there.
Now you graduated from high school in what year?
65.
65, and then in Melrose Park,
Mm-hmm.
where you lived. What made you go? How did it happen? How did you enlist?
Here's what happened. I graduated in June of 1965. I got a job in electronics. Then sometime in September that year, 65, I got a notice that I was going to get drafted. So before I decided, me and Mike, we went down to the military thing, and we signed up to go in so we can get it over with. And we were able to move it up to January of 66 to go to boot camp. Otherwise, I would have to wait probably another 6 months. And so the 18th of January, they flew us to San Diego to boot camp. And so we went through boot camp until March, the end of April. After boot camp, we went to what they call basic training. That's where you do advanced military training, walk the jungles and things like that,
But where were you doing basic training?
But we were doing it at Camp Pendleton. It was forest preserve more than anything else, And then they let you come home for a month, 30 days, which I think it was June. We came home and then we went back. And 3 weeks later, we got on an airplane and went to Okinawa. And by the time, and when I landed in, where was it? Da Nang. We landed in Da Nang in July. So in July, a year after I graduated from high school, a month later, 13 months later, I was in Vietnam. Yeah. Yeah. And on my very first patrol, night ambush, I was I was one of the last person because you're the new guys. They keep you in the back. You're in the very end. They moved out. We were in this high elephant grass, and this jerk in front of me, I guess being new, they don't know, They moved out, and I didn't know they moved out. By the time it was like 2, 3 in the morning, and by the time it started getting daylight, I didn't hear anybody. They had gone. The whole squad was gone. I was by myself. I was alone.
On your first patrol?
On the very first patrol, I'm alone. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, you're wondering if you're going to get captured, and stuff like that.
Couldn't you just hike back to the spot you guys started?
No, I stood where I was at, and then I just got up. I looked for all the guys. They were all gone. And I said, son of a bitch, forgot to tell them they were moving out. Because we were spread up about 15 yards, a piece.
Uh-huh.
And I guess he forgot that he had somebody behind him. You're supposed to tell the guy behind you, we're moving out. We're moving out. He didn't do it. Some jerk Marine that didn't give a shit.
Now, when you started the patrol, were you flown in?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, how did you get to that patrol spot where you
We
started?
walked in there.
You walked
But I
in.
didn't know where we were at. We're in the middle of a jungle. How would I know where we were at? We were somewhere on the outskirts of Da Nang. Somewhere in the woods out there. Somewhere in the jungles out there.
From basic training
Yeah.
to your first patrol?
For my first patrol, I was missing in action. Actually, I was there for almost the whole day before I heard some noise coming. I didn't know what it was. And I'm down low on my elephant grass, and I have my rifle already. I'm thinking, if I'm going to go under, I'm going to fight my way, And I don't know, it could have been anybody. And I heard it, and then I heard Americans talking, well, this is where we were at before. I think this is the place we were at last night. I heard somebody say, he's got to be around here somewhere. They sent somebody out to find me. The same squad came out to look for me.
Mm-hmm. And would you pop up?
And I said, I was pissed off. I told the lieutenant there, because they had an officer there, that the guy they never mentioned they were moving out. He said, well, we found you now, so you're going to be okay. I'm in the middle of Viet Cong territory. And if it's Viet Cong would have caught you, they don't treat you too good. I did leave that company, and they sent me to a brand new company, which became my regular company, instead of just somebody that's going to go.
You remember what company it was?
Lima Company, Lima Company, Third Battalion.